Welcome, my friends. You are on another Mavs Coffee Clarity with Denise DiGrigoli. If you've just found me, welcome. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. You know, we spill the beans weekly. I'm interviewing some fascinating people from all walks of life, from knowns to unknowns, creatives, entrepreneurs, busy executives, people that have a forward growth mindset. And today's no different. We always start with a mindful maverick minute because, hey, everybody's a maverick in their own right, whether it's a minute, a month, a lifetime. Where we left off last week, we were talking about the robbers of time and some of the things that steal our time and make us distracted. So here's the next three. Too much multitasking. You've heard about the Pomodoro effect or technique, where you do something for 25 minutes or 55 minutes and give it a break and complete it. Now, I am a big multitasker. You know that about me. I'm talking, I'm working, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I have to remind myself, in order to be really efficient, I've got a single task. Now, hey, I might drop my laundry in while I'm waiting for something to upload and process, but that's about it. I need to be focused, because that's when my sense of purpose is most clear, and that's when I'm moving forward. And we're all about moving forward, right, my friends? The other next bean I want to spill on saving time is surround yourself with people that see the cup as half full, not half empty. My grandmother used to say, you are the sum of your 5 best friends, and it's no different here on Mavs Coffee Clarity. And, you know, remember that when you look at how you spend your time, instead of allowing constant unplanned distractions or interruptions, you make a better day for yourself and for everyone else you have to deal with. So those are the next 3 little beans on how to manage your time. No one has to steal your time, my friends. So if you want to know more about me, check out DeniseDiGrigoli.com and my creative services, but do that after the show, because I've got someone spectacular today in the studio that I've known for quite some time. Somewhat of a serial entrepreneur, I would say, but a philanthropist, a lover, and a proponent of the arts. Known him and his wife and their family for many years, but guess what? I haven't seen them since 2018, and I'm so glad they're with us today. What I love about Randy Weis is the fact that he has been so generous with not only me, but everybody in the creative worlds and the business worlds with his time, his talent, and his treasure. So we've got him in today from Martha's Vineyard. Is that right?
That's right.
Welcome to the pod, Randy.
Thanks, Denise. Great to be here. And by the way, love the glasses. Good look.
I get a lot of compliments on my crazy cheaters. Thank you. So the last time we met, or we saw each other, was back in 2018 before the pandemic. I'm glad to see you and your family survived that very well. You had a very successful business, R.D. Weis Commercial Flooring. You did all the famous Who's You Whatsers, not only nationally, but some international work. So if you were in fancy hospitals or restaurants or real estate buildings throughout our country, you might have been on an R.D. Weis floor, right?
That's possible.
It's possible. How many years did you own that company?
So I owned the company 30 years, and in 2019, I sold the company to a larger group out of Chicago, and the company still exists today under the name R.D. Weis. The name didn't change. The people really didn't change, but we just became part of a much larger group. Selling right before the pandemic was good timing, but certainly we didn't plan it that way.
There's a little pause. What happened? Well, hold on. This is the problem when you tape live, my friends. Small little interjection. You know why we tape live, Peg? Because we're real and authentic. And you know what? People want to know the real deal. So sorry, I had to restart the video there for people just jumping on YouTube. So, Randy, I remember working a little bit with your team, and what I remember about your team was they had such a forward-thinking energy. They seemed so motivated. They seemed so dedicated. And, you know, one might not think of flooring as creative as the art worlds we've been in. So what did you do with your leadership to create that effect? Because I was only in there once or twice, and it was evident.
You know, I like to think that the difference was that very early on, I realized people do not like to be managed. They like to be in an environment where they've got room to grow, room to contribute. And I've always been a servant leader. I look at business as me working for the people rather than the people working for me. And I think at the end of the day, that created the culture that we had, and it worked for us.
It sure did. It was extremely evident. So you sell the business, and then what happens? You go on vacation?
Not in a very long time, actually.
Peg didn't let you take a day off?
So I sold the business, and shortly after I did, I joined the parent organization, and was in a variety of roles that involved a lot of traveling. I was traveling 4 days a week, 3 out of 4 weeks a month, having fun, meeting new people, trying to sprinkle whatever my secret sauce was on others throughout our network.
Did it work?
I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it
did you love that? Was that hard, like going to work for the parent company of a business you had built with such heart for so many years?
You know, it wasn't that hard.
Oh, okay.
You know, in business, due diligence is a word used all the time, and I did my due diligence on the buyer. I knew the buyer, so
good.
You know, did I get surprises? No, it was pretty smooth sailing. And January 1 of this year, I've actually stepped back, and am heading towards retirement mid-year, and we're kind of in transition.
Right. So how many years did you work for the parent company?
4 years.
4 years. Was that the plan, or did they ask you for longer?
So the plan was 3 years, and they asked if I could stay on. Well, they said you could stay on as long as you want, but we agreed that another year was about it. I've been in the workplace over 50 years. Enough's enough.
What was the most challenging thing about selling your business and moving off into a different role?
I think the more challenging thing was to let the people that work for me know that this was going to be good for them ultimately, as well as good for me, and getting them to believe in, you know, what the next phase was going to look like, and not get scared and run away.
Any tricks to how you pulled that off? Because that would scare me.
You know, I think I had always had a pretty honest relationship with my people and very transparent. And when I gave them the news that there was going to be a new owner, they trusted that I was telling the truth. Okay,
so you've stepped off.
Yep.
And you're on your way to retire. I find it so hard to believe you're retiring.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that word really exists in your world. But okay, what does it look like now?
So I've made some changes in my future plans, and decided that, among other things, I want to do another entrepreneurial venture.
Doesn't sound like retiring to me, Peg.
And I want to do a venture that conceivably, if we're successful, will create other entrepreneurs. Something other entrepreneurs can pick up and go develop on their own.
Is it too soon to talk about it right now?
No, it's actually not. You're
going to spill the beans on that?
I'm going to spill the beans.
All right. Or can I spill the beans?
You can spill the beans.
Because I just like saying it. Randy's Garage and Chili Company. Now, I happen to know you like antique cars.
I do.
Are you going into the antique car business?
I have a couple now, but I'm not going into that business.
Okay, so Randy's Garage and Chili Company is?
So it is, there's no garage.
No
That's
garage.
Just the name.
Right.
I mean, I own a garage, but the garage has nothing to do with this. It is about a modified version of Cincinnati chili, which is spaghetti with chili on top of it, and usually a sour cream or shredded cheese topping.
Wow. So is this an old family recipe?
It's a recipe that I've sort of modified through the years. Contains cinnamon, allspice, chocolate, things that are not found in your typical Tex-Mex chili.
Wow.
So
it almost sounds like dessert-esque for me.
It's sweet and hot.
It's sweet and hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what my life is, sweet and hot. No. Okay, so now that's not retirement to me, okay? And on Mavs Coffee Clarity, we roast ageism. So you would spend 50 years in a business, and now you're retired doing Randy's Garage and Chili Company. I got to stitch that together somehow.
So, my sister, who may listen to this podcast, has always said you never retire from something, you retire to something.
I love that. That's a bean we got to re-announce. You never retire from something. You retire to something. I love it. I love it.
And I've never been able to sit still. I've never loved golf or other things people talk about doing in retirement. So
yeah, yucky.
For me, retirement was going to be, some other business venture. And, I still have energy. I still,
But
I'm curious.
So I'm sort of a serial entrepreneur too, you know that. But I'm trying to go flooring to food. It's just F and F. What's the connection?
Well, there's no connection.
I don't know you as a chef. Are you you love this particular type of food?
I do.
Okay.
But I like to cook as well, but I wouldn't say that people get excited about, goulash that I make or something like that. But they do comment on the chili.
Really?
Yeah.
So now we're moving forward, retiring to Randy's Garage and Chili Company. Where is it right now? Is it in development? Is there a logo, a website?
So logo's in development, no website yet. Yeah. I've got to go through a lot of hoops where I live in terms of, selling a food product, having a commercial space to prepare it and all that.
Yeah. Safe serve, commercial kitchen, permits beyond wazoo.
100%.
Wasn't like the old days when we had a restaurant and you just kind of put it up and winged it. No. Okay, so this is a great point to ask now. You started a business many, many years ago, and now you're starting a new one. How is it different for you, and how do you think it's different in society?
Well, it's different for me in that the excitement of a business is always in the early stages.
It is.
The most excitement.
Right.
You reach a point in any business where you plateau and you're just sort of on cruise control.
Right.
The fun is when you are in that early stage. You're making mistakes. You're fixing things. You're learning things.
You're jazzed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to feel that again.
Okay. And who's helping you? Is this a solopreneur? Or you have people on your team working with you, or
so?
Because this is a lot. I mean, going into food is very different than consulting.
Yeah,
a lot of moving pieces and parts.
So I met this week with my attorney who, warned me about liability and said you better get insurance, which I'd planned to do anyway. I do have someone working on a logo right now. I think having spent so long in business, I can figure out the nuts and bolts of it. But, I'm going to be, in just a few months, I'm going to need hands and legs and feet to
Do you have a commercial
execute.
kitchen out on the island?
So I have a line of sight on several. I don't think that's going to be my barrier.
Okay. What is the barrier, maybe? If there is one. We don't see that here on the Coffee Clarity.
The barrier could very well be that if at the farmer's market, like a few products where they sell out in hours, that, I've got a line a mile long of people wanting to buy chili with spaghetti underneath it. I could have a health problem.
Right.
So,
storage problem,
we'll
quantity problem. Right.
I think we'll learn the problems day by day.
Uh-huh.
I'm not anticipating too many of them.
So if somebody's starting off in business now with no experience, what would you offer them as your best advice, having so much experience, whether it be food, consulting, retail?
I always tell people, don't overinvest too soon. Keep your cash, stay flexible, stay as liquid as you can, something that, you really want. Like in this case, I could go buy a food truck. I'm not going to buy a food truck.
No.
I'm not going to spend $50,000 before I've made my first bowl of chili.
That is a great piece of advice because we always think that we need all the accoutrements to do it well, and sometimes you really don't, right?
100%. When I started my last business, I had no office. I didn't own a truck. I used my car to get my crews around. Everything was very low budget.
You put the crews for your commercial flooring business in your car and took them around? That's swinging it back old school, right?
In the early days.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why they appreciated you so much. You were a savant leader. Wow. Okay, so now we're over. I just love the idea. First of all, food business I know can be, a headbanger, but I love the idea of it because you connect with the people and you're talking with them, and like there's no greater love than when you're eating something that you really enjoy. So what's the vision now? We're in the market. We're serving. How does it look? Paint the picture for our podcast listeners. You told us all the ingredients. How does it look? Is it coming in a paper bowl?
Yes, it'll be in a paper bowl with a lid on top. The utensils most likely will be made out of potato starch so that they're sustainable.
Biodegradable, right.
Yeah, the spaghetti will be a wheat-based spaghetti, not a gluten-based. And turkey, not meat, or a vegetarian option. I'm not going to offer hot dogs. I'm not going to offer hamburger. I'm keeping it really simple and focused singularly on one item.
Sort of like the model of Colony Pizza here in the Fairfield County area, right? They're only pizza. That's it. They kind of bent a little when they put some salad on their pizza. I think that's a great idea. We were out in P-Town recently, and Scott's Cupcakes only makes one kind of vanilla cupcake with pink frosting. And I'll tell you, the line was, I think it's sort of the exclusivity of the one idea. What do you think?
I think it's very smart to do it that way. But speaking of cupcakes.
Yes.
I got the idea for the name of the company from a cupcake company.
That made cupcakes?
No. Cupcake company is called Johnny's Cupcakes.
Johnny's Cupcakes.
They don't make cupcakes.
I love frosting. Just reminds me of frosting.
They sell T-shirts that has a picture of a cupcake and then some other design around it.
So they're just a merchandise.
Yeah, but it's the juxtaposition of the name.
Right.
People walk in the store, where's the cupcakes? Oh, there are none. And there is no connection between a garage and chili.
Right. So it sounds to me like it's a really cool twist of a name that makes you think of the food.
Right.
Although I have this vision of a 1950s Ford truck rambling down the interstate somewhere in Cape Cod selling these chili containers out of the back at like rogue music festivals. What do you think, Peg? That was a little journey, wasn't it?
Well, I would love it if that was possible, but with all the regulations today,
probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the marketplace. You've got the chili. Where else are you going with it? What's the vision? Because I know you're a visionary.
Yeah, the vision is to learn from, first learn what I don't know. I'm learning that now, but also use this summer at a farmer's market where there's really good product there and really good buyers there. People are discriminating buyers. To get feedback and see if the concept has legs, and then over the next winter. How
will you know if the concept has legs? What will that look like for you? Is it strictly sales?
So I think that's a key barometer. This is not a hobby,
right?
So that's a key barometer. But I think you see on people's faces whether they like something or not. Hopefully, we'll have a survey that people can either go online and take, or a clipboard. They can say like this, didn't like that. We'll try and get as much out of the customers as we can.
Right. QR coded, and then enter them in a prize to enter like some cool T-shirt from Randy's Garage and Chili Company. Ooh, the sky's the limit there. Very fun, especially out on Cape Cod in the summer. So I want to shift gears just a smidge. I don't know as if I will ever retire, because I, like you, cannot sit still. Yeah. And I love talking to people and doing things. So tell me how you came to this idea of selling your business and then continued. Like, what does retirement mean to you? And I know you said retire into, but I mean, seriously, as we get a little older and we need to kind of keep up with ourselves and keep up with our families, like what does that mean? Because I had someone else on who accidentally became a TikTok sensation now with 100 million followers, also in her second career in her life, kind of explosive. So we're seeing now the multi-generation moving in different directions. Like we all need each other, right? But we're still fighting ageism to a bit. So what is it? Like what can you offer the people that might think about retiring or in retirement, hate it, and be like, wow, I'm listening to him. I've got to try something new. Tell me what that means to you. How can you get somebody like that's stuck to move forward?
Unfortunately, people that do a hard stop, I think it's then hard to get back in.
A hard stop.
If you do a hard stop, say I'm retiring, I'm going to play golf for 6 months. I have a colleague who did that, retired. I'm going to play a lot of golf, played a lot of golf. Then he had second thoughts about why he did it, and he felt pretty unfulfilled. But he said to me, I've been away from the game now for a year. It's impossible to get back in. The technology's changed. Everything's changed. So I think for me, it's a multi-layered question. I've always believed in being a role model, and I want my children, all of them, to be as productive as they can as long as they can.
That's probably the key.
Yeah. How many times have you heard about somebody retiring and 6 months later they're dead?
Often, actually too often.
All the time.
I think it's important to stay forward focused, and that's why I'm always curious because, you start to even see it now, like, well, aren't you ready to slow down? No, I'm actually starting something complete. I'm not interested in slowing down at all. I mean, I looked at some of my role models, which would be like Lily Tomlin or Jane Fonda or even Lucille Ball, who worked very long and hard into her years and worked with her husband, like we both do, Peg. And I feel like we can cave, I don't know about gentlemen, but I think as women, we can cave to societal pressures. Well, it's time now. Well, what time is it? So, okay, you're telling them to be a lifelong learner and to really make a good decision before you make that decision. So what did you do to make that decision, even though you didn't do a full stop?
Well, doing as I have said to everyone, January 1, I did not flip a light switch. I turned a dimmer switch.
You dim the switch.
I'm slowing down some, and I'm finding it more difficult than I thought it would be to slow down some. But I have this other thing I'm going to, so I've got that sort of keeping me motivated.
Comes down to a sense of purpose, doesn't it? And taking your gifts with you and continually to use them in new ways. It really comes down to having a sense of purpose. And I also think, enjoying being with other people and sharing your gifts.
I think if you can do something, you should do something. So if you, are capable of moving on in a new direction, you should do that.
What if you're capable of doing a lot of things, but you don't know where you want to go, and you definitely don't want to do what you did before because you're coming out of flooring going into food? I mean, something like that. Like, how would you encourage someone to really take a look at their life and their basket of tools and skills and say, it's okay, you can fly. You can fly from flooring to food. Because I think the people I interview, some of their challenges have been they were afraid. And then when you get on the other side of afraid, you're zooming. And you're like, geez, I wish I had done that earlier.
Well, I think a key to it is when you're starting out in a career, you don't want to fail.
Right.
You don't want to fail because then you'll really get derailed and you'll lose confidence in yourself, and that can really be a setback. If I fail at this business, and by the way, the ultimate objective here isn't really chili per se. Mm-hmm. It's creating a brand.
Right.
And it's creating an experience for people. Hopefully I'm not the only person doing this under this brand name. I want to create a brand.
And what's the brand going to look and do after it launches? You have a vision for that?
So I have a couple of logos, but I think the brand, different from the logo, the brand is...
what's the feeling?
The feeling is this is a healthy option. It's fun name. Other people can, whether it's not use the name, but I can give other entrepreneurs a platform to do something. It's not complex. It's not high tech. Right ingredients, use the name.
So like a sort of a franchise model, kind of?
Yeah.
Licensee model? Wow.
One or the other.
One or the other.
McDonald's brilliance was, they created a platform for other people to sell hamburgers off of. I'm not suggesting that this is going to be the next McDonald's, but the concept is the same. Provide other people who don't have a lot of business experience with a formula to go out and support themselves.
It's kind of like the E-Myth by Gerber. You make it duplicatable, replicatable, real, and relevant, and then let somebody else fly.
And scalable. Got to
scale
it.
Wow. And in your mind's eye, where will we see you next summer? Not this summer, but next summer. What will it look like?
Well, I wish I knew what next summer would look like. I hope next summer I've got other people sharing the idea and the vision, and going out and making a life for themselves around food, around chili.
So before we close the show, because I am just in awe of this new idea, and of course, I love it when I see people continually sharing their gifts, finding new purpose, and helping other people move forward. My grandmother would always say, you cannot move forward or you can't be a success until you help someone else be a success. Any parting beans for our listening audience before we say goodbye for today? I hope you guys will come back. Or maybe we'll take this podcast out there and we'll do it from there in the market. You never know where Mav will go. Any last minute thoughts?
I think the only thing I would say to any listeners is know what your gifts are and share them. Share your gifts. Don't hold them in.
It's been that simple, my friends. You've been on Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise DiGregoli. Share your gifts. Together we all move forward. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, and more. And you're going to see some of this up on YouTube, DeniseDiGregoli.com. For more on creative consulting services. And Randy, where are we finding you?
To be determined. We don't have our website set up yet.
Okay, you stay close to Mav. She's going to tell you where Randy is this summer. Peace out, my friends. We got to get back to work.